Powered by Riverside FM.
Whispers in the dark, unexplained shadows. Join us this week as we delve into the world of the paranormal with a team of seasoned investigators. They'll share chilling tales from their most baffling and enigmatic cases, explore the latest in ghost hunting technology, and discuss the age-old question, do ghosts really exist? Tonight on Newsworthy, 2 words and 2 question marks.
It's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
You have scoured the podcast world and finally found us, Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, where we delve into all things mysterious, macabre, or out of this world, and decide if they are truly newsworthy. 2 words and 2 question marks.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. When it comes to buying a home, the process can be overwhelming and confusing. With so many options, it can be hard to know where to start. That's why it's important to work with a certified mortgage loan originator. I have the knowledge and expertise to guide you through the process and find the best mortgage option for you. I will work with you every step of the way to ensure that you are getting the best deal possible. So if you're looking to purchase or refinance, please reach out to me at 502-680-0953. So don't take on the stress of buying a home alone. Work with me and I will make your dream a reality. Trust the professionals and make your home buying experience a positive one. MLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, MLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is equal housing opportunity.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello.
Sound like
hello.
Dracula.
Yes, he did.
Fitting for tonight's topic, I
Yeah.
think.
Trying to get in character mode.
Fitting to my mood also. I went to the library today.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I was walking through, perusing the nonfiction, got to the math section. Everything in there was depressed and sad.
Why is that?
Apparently, they had too many problems.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't even know libraries still exist.
Basically.
Libraries are awesome, dude.
No, I actually go to our library now and then. So.
Yeah, ours is fantastic. I
It
love
is.
it.
It really is. I was hugely impressed. For a small town like Lawrenceburg,
Yeah, I remember when they updated it,
Oh,
and it was
did
like a huge deal.
Yeah.
It was back when I was in elementary school. Probably.
rightfully so, I think. It's a lot to be proud of for a little small community like this one.
My hometown has a really nice library, too.
Mhm.
Shout out to Cynthia
Nice.
Library. Folks that work there, namely folks that I went to school with now. It's kind of weird. Back in my day, we made fun of librarians, and now half of them are the librarians.
Monticello, Kentucky, where I was born and raised. And to be honest, I've not been in their library in 40 years. But yeah, it was just plain basic, no frills library.
Yeah.
Is this weird? Like before Cynthiana updated, their library was in this little building, and all the good books for my age, like the Star Wars and the sci-fi books, were all in the basement.
Really?
And I can still to this day remember the smell of the carpet and the books and everything about that library.
I'm
It was
just
weird.
impressed that yours had a basement.
Oh, it was awesome. It was spooky too, because no one ever went in the basement except like the librarians and
And
me.
Really? The
'Cause
other
I was-
kids your age that weren't going there?
No,
You
no,
said-
they would go to the because I was into like
Sci-fi.
astrology and sci-fi and weird stuff for kids my age.
Yeah.
They were all into comic books and everything upstairs.
Right.
I'd go down there and look for epics of like literally. This is going to sound so nerdy, and I don't care, but I would literally read like the encyclopedias about the planets and stuff. It was weird. So, anyway,
Yeah. Very nice.
all that from a dad joke. Not too bad.
I got some bad news.
Oh,
Yeah, my
What's
wife left me because I used college ruled paper.
What?
Oh no,
She said she needed more space.
more space. More space. What an excuse. That's a woman for you right there. Apparently, marital problems are going around. I'm having some myself.
Oh.
Yeah. My wife thinks that I'm invading her privacy.
Oh.
She denies it, but I know it's true. I read it in her diary.
Was it on college rule paper?
Probably. Yeah, probably related to Truly.
Oh, that's great. Wow. So we have a big announcement next week about something. I think we should tease it this week. What do you think?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
sounds good.
Next week, we're going to announce a huge sponsor with an open taste, and I'm excited about that. But this week, you can jump ahead of that. Go to one of our brand new sponsors, Smoking Guns Beef Jerky in Lincoln, Nebraska. Small mom and pop shop, Dave. Or I'm sorry, Jerry. Dave?
You look just like Dave.
He doesn't look anything like Dave. But
Dave will be offended.
It's a small mom and pop beef jerky store. They have an actual storefront you can go in if you're anywhere near Lincoln, Nebraska. Otherwise, you can order online. Use a promo code we'll give you, Cryptid10, all capital letters. You're going to get 10% off your purchase.
Very nice.
The great thing that I'm anticipating working with them on is that the prices on their website, some of these you go to their website and it's like way stupid high. You're going to pay what you'd pay at Walmart, and it's high quality beef jerky from everything I can tell. 50 plus flavors plus seasonings. And you were saying on their website, Brett, that you can look it up and they'll send you everything you need to make your own.
Yeah, you can see the recipes. They actually have them just on there, how to cook it. But if you pay for it, they'll send you the seasonings so you can do it.
Very nice.
That's fantastic.
Now, again, what was the website?
It's Smoking Guns Beef Jerky in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Guns, plural.
Smoking gun beef jerky, Lincoln, Nebraska. You put it in there.
There's no beef. I looked it up. It's smokinggunjerky.com.
Oh, perfect. And
the
it'll
code?
take you right there. Cryptid10.
Very nice.
So put that in, get 10% off. That'd be awesome. Check it out. Tonight, we got a really super cool show. I'm excited. We got some paranormal investigators coming in that's going to tell us a little bit about what they do and how they do it. And
some local guys not far away from us.
Yeah, just right down the road as the crow flies. So I'm really excited about that. And what do you got going on tonight, Brett? You look so sad.
Well, my wife just left me. I told you that.
Dude, just go to Walmart.
And my computer died.
Just go to Walmart, buy some different paper. She loves you. She'll come back.
I thought you was going to send this man to Walmart to buy another wife. He tells you his wife is gone and left him, and you're like, no problem, go to Walmart.
That's a great place to look for wives, Walmart.
They've recently added Russian mail order brides to their menu, apparently, according to Steve.
Oh, geez. You fellas, you're bad. Let's get into it. Let's get these folks in here and talk to them.
Sounds good.
Hello, guys,
What's going
and
on?
welcome to the show today. Marshall and Shelby from Blue Collar Paranormal and Broken Souls Paranormal is with us this evening. We can't be more excited to have these awesome father-daughter duo of the paranormal extreme. Welcome to the show.
How are you guys doing?
Doing excellent. We just learned right before we came on the air that Marshall's right up the road from us. How about that? That's pretty impressive.
I'm telling you what, but guys, let's get together. There's the Lee's chicken right over here, guys. Let's hook up, eat some chicken livers, get some gravy, mashed potatoes.
Cool.
Let's have. What's wrong with you, man? You a Kentucky boy?
Oh, you don't want to go with food with me. I'm so great. I am so picky. I eat like a 10-year-old.
Yeah. That
Jerry
fella
makes fun
right
of me
there,
all the time
I
for
bet
how I
he
eat.
could eat out of a garbage can. He's ready to roll. Let's rock
Yeah,
out,
buddy.
brother.
That's right. I was born and raised on a farm.
Yeah.
When we killed a hog, we ate all parts of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Unlike
from the
Mr.
rooter
Lindsay,
to
who
the
will eat.
tutor. We eat
You got it.
everything.
Absolutely. We are true Kentuckians. We haven't given up our Kentucky citizenship card
That's
like
right,
Mr.
man.
Steve.
You better give your man card up whenever you roll into Kentucky.
Oh my goodness!
So,
No,
guys,
thank
I am
you.
super
I can't buy it at the
excited
meat
tonight.
department in Kroger, I don't want it.
Yeah, man. That
Yep.
Kroger meat ain't real
Yeah, we're
meat,
excited to
baby.
have you.
True fact.
Very
So
true.
tell us a little bit about what you guys have going on, what you're doing, how you do it. Everybody does paranormal investigating a little different. And talking with you guys, you sound like you go in with a skeptical eye, and I think that's very beneficial as opposed to the Zach Baggins way of doing things where everything's something when really it isn't. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to lead off. I am actually going to put a crown on that beautiful blonde-haired little lady right there. Shelby Wallace is the owner of Blue Collar Paranormal. She runs 6 of the most haunted locations in Kentucky and Ohio. We're talking about, Woodlawn Estates, Mason Manor, Bentonville Schoolhouse, C.E. Kirker Building, Morgan County Jail, the Augusta Pub. Guys, she is only 20 years old. This little lady's been in the paranormal since she could barely even walk. And,
Wow.
and we're both, we love this, we enjoy it, but I have to give up everything that I have, every bit of confidence I have to that little blue-eyed lady right there. I love you, baby.
Love you too.
Okay, now you tell them about Blue Collar
That's
Paranormal.
nice.
Well, like you said, I run 6 locations, and I gotta say that's something that I take pride in, because you don't see anybody else, 20 years old running 6 locations as good as I do, in my opinion. And a lot of people watched me grow up in this community, and I know a lot of people from it. They know how I am, they know who I am, and I love what I do. I love finding new locations to bring to the field. I think, I at least want to bring 1 or 2 a year. That's what I keep telling myself.
Shelby, I have a question. When you say you run 6 locations, are these like locations that are no longer like there's somebody no longer living there, and so you manage it for the rest of the paranormal community? Or explain that to me, because I've never heard
For
that before.
I say manage. We talked about it before we went on air. Basically, it's open for bookings. Locations you go and investigate. To get access to them, the only way that you can get a booking is through Blue Collar Paranormal on Facebook or one of my pages. It all comes directly to me. And I basically renting it out for an event. That's
Okay,
basically
cool.
what it is event management.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome. That
Like
is.
you look at, everywhere else, like, how do you get a booking there? That's what I do.
Interesting.
Marshall, I'll ask this question for you because I'm sure I probably know the answer for your daughter. But for you, what sparked your interest? What drew you to this? And I said I probably know the answer for your daughter. It's probably you.
Well,
What drew you to it originally?
okay, what brought me into this thing is and this is a family thing. After my oldest brother passed away, I was a young man. Then. I was probably 22, 23 years old. I would see my older brother in the crowd. I would see him. I would hear his voice. But then whenever Shelby was born, I had Shelby in the bed next to me, and I've told this story 1,000 times, and every time I tell it, I always feel the same way. I had my baby girl Shelby over here beside me in the bed asleep next to her mommy, and that night I woke up and I was covered in sweat. And my 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 ex-wife at the time, she was sitting there and she said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I'm looking at the door and I see a woman standing at my door. Well, after that goes on, we find out after a couple of weeks that the woman that I seen was the lady that had passed away in the house in Shelby's bedroom. That's the reason that she slept in my room that night. So, I mean, it was more on the lines of a necessity.
Can imagine. That would certainly pique anyone's interest.
Well, I mean, we're all dads here. We're dads.
For me,
I mean, I'm a dad. You're a dad. He's a dad. And if whenever that baby's in our hands, and we're walking that baby across the threshold of their bedroom, and then that fast, that baby starts squalling, and you guys know what I mean by squalling. You know something's wrong, but you can't figure it out, and you're nervous, and you go into a fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And you're just ready to take on anything in the world. But I could never figure it out.
Sure.
And that day I figured it out, that was that spirit of that woman that had got neglected and left by her family, and she passed away in Shelby's bedroom.
Wow.
A couple of questions. Did you have more experiences with that spirit? And how long did you live there?
We lived there for 7 years. I had more than 4 experiences with that woman, watching her walk from Shelby's bedroom to the bathroom. So I actually experienced that woman 4
Jerry would
times.
have done that once. Wow.
I think you've got more intestinal fortitude than I do. I don't think I could have lived there that long after experiencing
Well,
it the first
we both grown men, brother. I didn't have enough money to get the fuck out of there, is what it is. So I had to stay where I was
know
at.
what you mean.
I had a baby girl to raise.
So let me tell you guys a story real quick about that I would mention to you before we came on the air. We were at Logan, Ohio, and we were interviewing a paranormal group. It was a dad, daughter, and a couple of friends that were with them. And I had interviewed the father, or Jerry had interviewed the father. I was interviewing his daughter. And the dad's name was Danny. And when I sat down to interview his daughter's name was Olivia. I started talking to Olivia, and I'm like, "So how long have you and your dad, Brian, been doing this?" And Rich is really strange for me because I'm really good with names. My professions dictate that I learn names pretty quick. And Danny turned and looked at me, and I stopped the camera. I stopped recording because I knew I'd messed up. And I was like, "I am so sorry. I don't know what happened." He's like, No, don't be sorry. That Brian is my brother, and he just passed away about 3 months ago.
No shit.
So it was like
crazy.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Actually, I I'm right here right now. I have there's a memorial of my brother, my middle brother Clay. He's right above my right shoulder here. So I mean, that's a weird thing that you just said that, and he's right there. So I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and,
it was. I thought I'd upset him, and he was very happy that he said, that's just his way of letting me know that he's okay.
Yeah, we were afraid he was going to be bothered, worried. He was happy.
Yeah.
That's what he thought. It was his way of his brother reaching out and saying, "Hey, I'm still here, still looking out for you."
Yeah, it was really weird, and there was 25,000 people around us at the time. It was.
Yeah.
It was
That's
neat.
crazy.
So tell us, when you guys are doing a paranormal, when you're out and you're looking at a case, how do you approach the case when there could be natural explanations versus, leaky drafts or creaky floors, whatever, or actual paranormal activity? How do you guys discern the difference there?
Shelby,
something
you
that-
want to take this one or you want to take it?
I don't know what that little machine's called.
Okay, guys, what we use is, you know, I see a lot of people on all these social media platforms, and I'm probably not the most liked on these platforms. I'll let you know that because there's one reason, because I'll call out bullshit. I'm not
I
going to
think in
sit here and
your-
say I see
your
a
line of work,
fucking
that's a good
demon
thing.
over here in the front corner. That's bullshit. If we can prove it by science, because we have skeptics, we have people that want to understand what we do, right?
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
That was the whole
What
meaning
we
of the
use is vibration sensitive equipment. We use motion sensitive equipment. We use electromagnetic field equipment. Guys, I mean, if we don't bring this as a science, then nobody's going to respect us.
I'm talking about the wind thing, Dada, the little fan thingy.
Oh, you're talking about, yeah, I understand, baby. I understand.
What's it called? That was my answer to the question.
It's an atmospheric tester. Okay. It tests airflow, it tests moisture in the air, it tests how much movement of the air is going on. I mean, when we go into a home, we test around the windows, we test around the vents and everything to make sure that, if someone's telling us, I have paranormal experiences. Well, is the curtain close enough to your vent to where it's moving? Is your door close enough to the event where it's moving? Right? I mean, we have to look at everything. And there are so many skeptics out there that we have to show, we have to bring rock solid proof.
Oh, I agree, 100%. Anybody can do Zach Baggins. I could probably do that pretty well, but that doesn't help. It's the same thing from my perspective when you have people who fake Bigfoot pictures. That doesn't help the community because, in fact, it hurts the community with any sort of legitimacy. And we're just really trying to get to the truth.
Well, I mean, they think that the paranormal field right now in our society is a pseudoscience. It's not a science that is accepted by mainstream scientific experts, right? I mean, if you take it down to brass tacks, they all think that we're over here, we're quack jobs. You believe in ghosts. Oh my God, you're a ghostbuster. That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, we bring out equipment, lasers. I mean, we're dealing with sophisticated instruments. I mean, laser grids. I mean, that can detect heat temperatures, everything. If you look at what we use, like the GS2, I mean, if you take the GS2, it's a laser grid system. It can detect heat, moisture, disturbances, and everything. I mean, guys, this thing can track a fart. I'm telling you, I'm not being mean, I'm not being crazy, but what we use literally, and plus we use history. That's the whole thing about it. We can't sit there and say something and bring it back into paperwork. Because what we do, Shelby, is this. Shelby, when I go on my lives, when I do my live broadcasts, when I do my videos, Shelby is on the other end of the phone. She is on a computer running through every database that we have, and she tracks down every name that we get. If she can connect that name with that property, then we roll through that. We roll through every bit of information that we can on that subject. Because we don't want to put anything out there that we can't verify.
That's good. I mean, that's.
I mean, she's actually more of an investigator than I am. Actually, I am just the face. Shelby's the investigator. Because she's the one that gives me the information to go in and find.
What would you say has been your most memorable investigation you've done?
I think Shelby will agree with me on this. It was what was it last year, Shelby? Me, you, and Bubby were in Woodlawn Estates.
Oh God! The first time we ever heard the footsteps.
We were in Woodlawn Estates, and I had took Shelby and Bubby, and I'd set them up a warm room. It was like -3 degrees. I took a couple heaters in there. I put him and Shelby in that room, and I got them warm. I wanted my babies to be warm. I'm a dad. I can't help that. So I went into the foyer of Woodlawn Estates, and I started getting the cameras ready, and I started getting the equipment ready. All of a sudden, Shelby and Jonathan come out of the room and ask me where I've been. I said, Shelby, I've been right here getting the equipment ready. And she said, Dad, somebody's upstairs. And then all of a sudden, I heard 5 footsteps run towards the door. So then Jonathan's sitting right behind Shelby right now. You guys don't see him. He's on the screen right there. I told Jonathan, I said, you get her the fuck out of here. And when I tell you, do not let her back in here until I come back out, because it scared me that bad that somebody was going to hurt my baby. I took an old case double X Hawkbill out of my back pocket, and I walked up them stairs because I knew somebody was there ready to hurt my baby. And I will swear on my life to that right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that same day, later on in the investigation, I think it was about 2:00 in the morning. We were in. It's called the blue room or dark room in Woodlawn, because it's the only room in the house that's a deep dark shade of blue, and the windows are covered up, so it's completely dark. And I was doing my assist and everything upstairs, and it was my solo. Everyone wanted me to do it, and I get done and I get up and I walk out and I get to the stairs, and something runs right behind me. And I don't run. Let me just clearly say that. I don't run. So if I start running, it means get the fuck out of wherever I'm at or get out of my way. Because
Yeah, guys,
if
I'm
I
telling
pass
you
you,
what.
I'm gonna trip you.
Let me tell you what. If you have ever been with anybody that is one of them 10 toes down, them ride or die bitches you ever heard of, Shelby's that girl, because she has been in Penhurst. She has been in all of these absolutely. I'm telling you, she's been in some creepy fucking places with me. But that night, I tell you what, her face went absolutely white. It was the first time I've ever seen her go white. And that was the first time that I got scared. I was actually
And this
scared.
is a 1852 Gothic Victorian mansion. So these aren't little floors. These are
Right.
like, you got 2 feet of wood and shit between them. We had him later on, once we checked the house and everything, we had him go up there and, walk in his steel-toed boots. You could not hear him at all.
Wow.
And
It sounded
I
like
was
a
like,
fucking
okay, go
horse
back
was
and
coming at us.
stomp with everything you got. And, even if you stomp with everything you got, it did not sound anything as loud as
Jeez.
whenever we first heard it.
This is the Woodlawn in Maysville, Kentucky.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think? What's the most compelling piece of evidence that you've captured during an investigation?
I would think
what did you
that
get, and you were like, "Whoa! I can't believe I got that."
I would think that at Bentonville School we had Eric Moore of we had Eric Moore with us, and he's a paranormal investigator. He runs the
Oglaze Village.
Oglaze Village. An absolutely wonderful guy. I love him to death. He's so amazing. He works with Austin Maynard. Sorry about that, guys. He had his GS2. What was that? What is the little recorder, Shelby? He had a recorder with him, and we were in the classroom, and he clearly asked, "Can you count to 3?" And on that EVP recorder, it says 1, 2, 3. And that little child's voice, literally, I went crazy. I could not believe it because I'm a skeptic. I am one of them people that I have to be shown numbers. I have to show 2 + 2 = 4. And when I heard that little kid say those 3 words, I lost it. That was my most profound experience.
And later on, you know, and the little girl there was a little girl that did pass away on Bentonville School's property. She was getting off the school bus and got hit by a drunk driver, and, you know, unfortunately passed away. And later on that night in that same room, she came through, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said something like, "It's me, Emma," you know, like.
I mean,
And
the name Emma is all over the school. You can't see it, but it's wrote in, like on one of the boards. It's like somebody took their knuckle and wrote and pushed it in and printed it on this board. You know, her name on 2 or 3 doors. You can see this actually. So I mean, the locations. I mean, I'm not trying to promote any locations here or anything like that. But I would love to invite you guys to these locations.
That's what we're here to talk about now. The locations.
Okay, but I mean, I want to invite these people. I want you guys, and you know,
we have to schedule.
Yeah, they have to schedule it. I
Don't
do
take
that.
any
Shelby does.
scheduling from him. Don't take any scheduling from him.
Gotcha. So I had an experience, and I've told this several times on the air, but you guys feel like you guys would appreciate it. So I used to have this really crappy job, and I delivered uniforms and rugs and that kind of work.
You work for Centos.
Well, it was for a company like Centos, but it was a local, yeah. So my job was that I had to ride with all the drivers to learn their routes, so I could cover their vacations, I could cover their sick time. If they called off, I would hop in the truck and take care of them. So me and the guy, Jason, was going, and we had went to this big old hospital. It was a hospital at one point. It was an elementary school at one point. Now it was a plumbing place. And I was like, I bet that place is haunted. And we talked to the folks, and they're like, nah, we never heard anything. There's nothing here ever. I was like, okay. So we go across the street to a church. And the church we go into, we put the rugs down. It's all good. But then we go next door to the parsonage, which had been converted to the youth center. And as soon as we walk in the door, Jason and I looked at each other, and we just felt it. And what it is, to this day, I don't know. But the longer we were in there, the more heavy the presence got. And by heavy, I mean like it was pushing down on us. And it felt evil. It felt dark. And we were in there, and it got to a point that we just threw all the towels on the floor and booked out of there. That's how bad it felt. And that was one of my worst experiences ever. I've never felt that way. I've showed Jerry where this place is. Obviously, we've tried to get some of the congregation on multiple, not the congregation, but the pastoral staff or somebody to come on and just, hey, have you ever felt anything? Have you ever, because there's no way that level of energy was in there and no one had ever felt it. You're not going to convince me of that. It was really
they
cool.
don't respond. They refuse. Yeah. They're not going to have anything to do with it.
Well, you guys know this. I mean, let's just be honest. Well, you know, we're in Kentucky. We're in the Bible Belt. You know, ain't nobody down here going to say anything that's going to upset any part of what they do. But they do feel it. They know it. They know it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's pareidolia. What pareidolia, you guys know what pareidolia is. It's whenever you see, you know, an elephant in the clouds, when you're looking up in the fucking clouds.
Right.
I mean, you know, guys, we all know that. It's called intuition. Guys, I know if there's something, when I walk in a place, if I walk in a place and I'm like, no, you know, I don't think that I'm supposed to be here. And that's what you guys are feeling right there. You know, hey, hold on.
Yeah, it
Something's not right.
definitely a sixth sense. I think that we've
Mm-hmm.
developed over our evolution, if you will.
Well, I mean,
When
you
you
guys,
guys,
I mean, how many times, I mean, you guys are both dads just like me, right?
yeah,
How many times has your baby said, you know what, Dad, I don't want to go in there. I don't feel that. You know,
Yeah.
I feel, you know, and I've listened to Shelby. And you know what? She's been right because, you know, after the fact, we've took equipment in there and we've showed, you know, there's been incidences where we've brought over necrophonic, spirit talker, you know, S boxes, SB11s, SB7s. We've brought names throughout the history books of these instances. And that's just going on by what she's saying. And it may say a woman's intuition, but let me tell you what, I follow that little woman's intuition.
Yeah.
earlier when you were talking about your one of your times at Woodlawn, it made me ask this question: have you ever been worried about the safety of yourself or anyone on your team? And if so, how did you deal with it?
Okay, whenever, and like I said, Shelby and Jonathan are right there. They can attest to everything right here. That night that we were there, it was a very cold night. I had heaters. I had brought in propane heaters for Shelby and Jonathan. I had set them up in the walker room, and you know I turned the heaters on. I made sure that I had they had a warm place to be at. You know, because I don't want my babies to be cold while I'm out here working. You know, and I'm sitting out there, and all of a sudden, Jonathan is a very, very intelligent. He is probably one of the most intelligent people that I've ever met. He is a no bullshit. If it's right, it's right. It's wrong, it's wrong. He's that kind of guy. You know, he's
I can see
never
his head
played any
swelling back there.
games. But whenever he walked up to me and he said, you know what? Somebody's fucking upstairs. I told Jonathan right then and there. Jonathan's right there. He can attest to what I say right now. I said, you take Shelby out right now. Don't let her back in this house until I fucking come out. And then all of a sudden, we were all three standing in the foyer of Woodlawn. We heard the people running upstairs to come down. And that was the one time, you know, that I was worried about my baby. I was worried about my babies. And Jonathan, I love you, and you are my baby.
So, Shelby, I have a question for you. In your experience, do you believe that certain locations or even certain people are more susceptible to paranormal activity, and why?
I do. I think with the locations, I believe if it has a tragic history or, one of those life events that, is life altering, I think it's more susceptible to having, residual hauntings. Because I do feel like with a few of the experiences I've had at our locations, it could be residual. Like in Woodlawn, back in the day, it was built in 1852. So back in the day, the lady of the house would present herself whenever, there was a party or everything. And a lot of the times on about between the fourth, fifth, and sixth stair, you can kind of feel a presence there, feel like you're being watched. And I can't remember what the group name was, but they actually caught a partial apparition of a woman in white, like wearing a white dress with brown hair on the stairs. She wasn't on those steps, but she was kind of walking up the stairs.
Interesting.
And then regarding the people, like you said, if they draw in more energy, I feel
Right.
that if you open yourself up to it and like you, I don't know how to say it, but basically if you are willing to, see this stuff and, do it and everything, and you don't focus completely on it. Because if you focus completely on wanting to see something, you're never going to see something.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna drive yourself crazy being like, I'm gonna look right here and I'm not gonna take my eyes off of it because this is where they said that they saw this, and you're not gonna see anything.
Right. Now, do you
Okay.
believe that? Oh, go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
I just started to ask her a follow-up question. Of the 6 places that you have, what percentage would you guess of the times you've been there have you saw something or experienced something?
I've experienced stuff at all of my locations, even our retired locations, because we have, I believe, 3 retired locations at the moment. And me personally, I feel like I've experienced something. Sometimes I experience more at the location. Sometimes I might only have, one thing happen. Or, it just, the energy you'll feel different. And, it could be something as little as that.
I think that that's so accurate. I think that when you watch a show like a Zach Baggins and every 32 seconds something else is happening, that's just not real life. I mean,
Yeah, that's not.
when people
Shelby, you
present
want me to
that, I
answer
think
this?
I just answered it, Dad. I let him finish.
Okay.
Oh no, you're good. I just feel like that, that again, like I said, it hurts real investigators such as yourself when he presents those kinds of things. So,
Yeah.
tell us, and this is for both of you guys. Tell us the one place that you have no desire to ever go back, ever.
Or has anything got you to that point?
Yeah.
There is one house. It's one of Spooky's locations. I believe she retired it too, but it's a little house right off of Main Street, and it's one of the only locations that I will say actually scared me. And at the location, I believe back in the day, her fiance had unalived her. I don't know what terminology I'm allowed to use on here, but he unalived her, and I was the closest to her age. I was about 15, 16 at the time, and I think she was 19 whenever she passed away. And he was abusive towards her, and all that. And we were doing a group hunt. I was going up the stairs to the attic because there was a little group up there, and I wanted to see what was going on, obviously. And I get up there, and I feel like, I feel like a little tickle on my wrist, like right on my veins. And I look down, and as I'm pulling my sleeve down, it feels like someone took a 3-pronged fork and put it over a fire and shoved it in my arm and just drug it down. And that's one house that I don't even like to drive by.
Yeah. No, I get that. I'm the same way with that church.
Yeah.
What about you, Marshall? Where's one place that you don't ever want to step foot in again? You don't have any desire?
Probably a wedding chapel. I'm just playing, guys.
It took me a second. I was all in, and then I'm like, oh, my guy's got jokes.
No,
Jerry
guys,
would
I
agree with you.
have been handcuffed in jails. I have walked down the halls of Pennhurst. I have went through the attics of Trans-Allegheny, Mansfield Reformatory. But I tell you what, the one place that I don't want to go, and everybody wants me to go to, is the basement of Woodlawn, because it's and I'm not just trying to promote anything here. I'm telling you what, when you walk down those stairs, it's a different story when you walk through that big iron door and it closes. that place right there, I've done solos there. It's the one place that really freaks me out. I don't feel easy. Most of the places I'm really confident, I'm really focused. That is the place that really, it almost, it drags my focus away. Like I know that I'm in the middle of a horror movie. I'm looking at the main scene of a horror movie. So that really does give me that really weird feeling.
Nice. So Shelby, tell us about what you guys have coming up as we kind of wrap things up here for tonight. What you guys got in the future, where people can find you guys and reach out to you, and all the good things.
We are currently working on some events with some big places up here in Pennsylvania and Ohio. Still working on some dates and everything, and we gotta move some stuff around, but definitely keep an eye out and, to see what we post. Follow us on Blue Collar Paranormal. Then Woodlawn Estates, Morgan County Jail, Haunted Bentonville School, Kirker Building, Mason Manor. All of those are also our pages. I run all of them. Then, we have our TikTok page. You can either type in Blue Collar Paranormal or Broken Souls Paranormal. It'll take you right to us. We have an Instagram, but I'm still learning how to do that. I'm not as tech savvy as everybody else. And yeah, just all the social medias, just type in Blue Collar Paranormal and it should pop up all the locations.
All right, I'm going to pop in on that one right there, guys. Right now, Residual Haunts has us booked for 2 locations. We are doing a meet and greet with Broken Souls Paranormal with Shelby. Guys, go check that out. And we appreciate you all so much for having us on here.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you guys get things scheduled, give us a call. We'll be happy to shout it out and get the word out for you.
When do you guys think you should come down and check out and hang out with me?
We'll make it happen the next few weeks, I'm sure. For me, I always am scheduled out usually 2 weeks in advance, but we'll make that happen very soon for sure.
All right, guys.
Before the spring comes.
Thank you all so much. Shelby, Daddy loves you. That big old bald-headed sexy motherfucker right there. Thank you for being up here with us, baby. Look at him over. His head's shining.
Yeah. That goes on a lot around here. Brett's the same way.
Yeah, very much.
Appreciate you all so much. Thanks for joining us, Shelby. Thanks for talking with us.
Thanks, guys.
That was an interesting episode, but our journey isn't over yet. If you stay tuned, we have an exciting bonus story coming up after this commercial break.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. When it comes to buying a home, the process can be overwhelming and confusing. With so many options, it can be hard to know where to start. That's why it's important to work with a certified mortgage loan originator. I have the knowledge and expertise to guide you through the process and find the best mortgage option for you. I will work with you every step of the way to ensure that you are getting the best deal possible. So if you're looking to purchase or refinance, please reach out to me at 502-680-0953. So don't take on the stress of buying a home alone. Work with me and I will make your dream a reality. Trust the professionals and make your home buying experience a positive one. MLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, MLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is equal housing opportunity.
If you would like to share suggestions for future episodes, an intriguing ghost story, or simply tell us how much you love or hate us, please get in touch with us. You can reach us via email at newsworthywithstephencherry@gmail.com or send us a text at area code 540-709-1318.
India's hill stations in the foothills of the Himalayas story are cloaked with both mist and mystery. The Savoy Hotel in Lush, Missouri is no different. Built in 1902, the English Gothic luxury retreat has had many a famous folk sleep in its bed. From British colonizing officials to Indian leader of the nationalist movement, Nehru excuse me. However, we'd say the most famous or infamous guest, rather, is the specter of Frances Garnet Orme, the spiritualist who came to stay in 1911 but was found dead in her bed. Investigations revealed that the spiritualist had been poisoned with cyanide. Garrett Orme's companion was suspected of the poison, but was acquitted. However, the plot thickens. The doctor who examined Orme was also found poisoned just a few months later. The case was never cracked, but it captured the attention of British author Kipling, who relayed the story to then aspiring writer Agatha Christie. She penned Penrose's first adventure, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, based on the murder at Missouri.
You know, just fun fact about Agatha Christie: she sold more books than anybody else ever.
That's amazing. Wow. And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.